Hey, this is WhyBeAre with Absolute Drift, and right now we're in the splash screen so you can get a nice fancy look at the name. And now we're going to go to the main menu, and from here we're just going to hit free roam. We'll look at everything else later on, I promise, but right now I'm going to go to free roam. And what you're seeing is what you would see if you started this game fresh. Like, I deleted my save file, so this is entirely a new game basically. And right here we have Drifting Buddha, who will kind of teach you about the game. So he says, "Hello, my child. You're here to become a drifting master. Drifting is the art of sliding sideways. Let me give you some background to drifting. Drifting was created in Japan by a race car driver who had too much sake during lunchtime, so he couldn't drive in a straight line. Becoming a drifting master will require patience and determination. The next time we see each other, you will be a drifting master. Now go forth and hit walls. Drift." And I talk all calm like that because I see Buddha, and it makes me think that. I don't know why. It's just like, Buddha, oh, I should talk calm. Doesn't make much sense, does it, when I actually say it aloud? Oh well. So here are the controls for the game. You could either use a controller or the keyboard. And the keyboard works a lot better than I expected. You can actually drift decently enough with the keyboard. The controller is better, I will say right now. But if you only have the keyboard, that shouldn't be a reason not to get the game. It still seems like it works fine with the keyboard. Like right now I was using the keyboard and then I switched over to the controller and it was mostly seamless, except for the fact that I spun out when I let go of one controller to go control setup to go to the other. But it works with either one. Controller is just a little bit better. So right here it says smash blocks. So I'm gonna do that. Just nice and careful. Don't want to accidentally drift. Just kidding. You do want to drift. It's not like it matters for something right here where it's just tutorializing, but it looks a lot cooler when you drift through them, doesn't it? Next part of the tutorial is right here where it's the clipping point. So it says drift close to the poles. So you just kind of do something like this. A little too far on that one. And there's no points for actually like when you do something where you drift right so close to it that you kind of clip the pole but don't hit the wall. You don't get anything for that. I don't know if you normally would in any sort of competition. So if you go like that and then don't hit the wall, it's like, too bad, you get nothing. Anyways, get the last pole and move on to the next area. So this is the drift track. It's a 3-lap score attack. You get points for drifting and points for clipping points and blocks, which is what you just saw me do, hitting blocks and getting near those poles. That's what gets you the points. The first thing we're doing was just a simple oval track, as you saw, so let's go ahead and get started. And there's not much to say about this track because it is just kind of like the first track to give you an idea of how the mechanics of score and all that work. Basically, though, you have a certain amount of points you get for the drifts, and then you also have a multiplier. So the way it works is if you crash into a wall, for example, like this, or you don't drift long enough, either way, you'll get to keep the score you had, but you lose the multiplier. In some racing games, or drifting games I should say, if you drift into a wall, you lose all the points you have, which is a little more hardcore than this setup where you bank the points you have, but you lose the multiplier and all that. So there's trying to actually get some points on this last lap. The first one I'm like, here, let me show you how things work. This one I'm like, I gotta drift now. I kind of pulled that back. I got it over 100,000 points. The thing is, it's hard to know what's a good score because everything is leaderboard based. So it's like I'm in the top 15%, but that doesn't mean too much to me at the moment because I have this game the day before it came out, and there's probably like less than 100 people have played it, so it's kind of hard to know how well you really did. It's one of my only complaints I have. I wouldn't mind just something that says, you know, an average score for this would be considered this or whatever. But either way, that's the score I got, and we can go ahead and finish that up. And now we get to the actual kind of campaign element of this game, I guess you could say, where you have missions to do in just this big open area like this one right here where it says jump over the plane. So you could do something like that, and you notice the skid marks actually stay while you're in the air, which is kind of funny. Also, the music changes sound when you're in the air. It gets all tinny and stuff, and the engine does too. It's kind of a neat little feature. I'll do the jump again so you could actually hear that. And speaking of the music though, there's a lot of music to this game. It's like 2 hours of music or something, so you never really hear the same music twice that often. I mean, you will eventually if you play it long enough. But I've only been playing this game for 3 hours or so, and there's like 2 hours of music. So I do notice like, oh, I recognize that song, but it's not like repeating or anything feeling. And I know there's a huge delay between those sentences, but I was like, you know what? I gotta show off that tin sound. So another one is you gotta collect those little things I just collected like that. There's 5 of them throughout this area. And then there's another thing over here which just says drift between the containers, so we could do something like that. And then keep on driving. I think there's another one of those things I saw earlier. We can try to collect that without crashing. Here we have drift between the container and radar. I guess that drift wasn't good enough for you, huh? Sometimes that happens. You do have to get a little sideways more than you think would be necessary every now and then, but there we go. And then over here we have one that says drift between the lamp and the hanger. Whoa! I'm safe! I'm clear. I almost crashed, but I didn't. And we gotta find the rest of the challenges, and once you complete those, you get to the next area, which will unlock more tracks and more vehicles. Right now, we only have a couple of tracks, the one you just saw, and then one of those ones, for example. You can also change the color of the car you're driving by driving through that paint booth thing. You just drive through it, and it gives you a new paint job. You don't like it, you drive through again until you do like it. And it's hard to tell what car we actually have right now, but I think it's supposed to be reminiscent of an 8.6, I guess is the easiest way to say it. Most people probably know it as the 8.6, right? Or maybe E86. I don't know what most people call it, but you know, the most iconic drift car because of initial D. So it should be white, but it's not. Well, it has a turbo sound anyways. It's not like Takumi ever had a turbo on his. He had a fancy racing engine. This one has a turbo. Oh, so I guess it's an 8.5. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you need to watch the initial D anime. That's the only way to describe what I'm talking about easily. Anyways, gotta drift between these lamps, no problem, and that unlocks the next area. So boom, door opens, and then we have the Gymkhana area, which is different than the tracks. Like the tracks is pretty simple. You do laps, and you get points from the laps. The Gymkhana is different though. So let's go into the thing, and it'll teach you because it's tutorial. So here's the tutorial. Can't remember what the tutorial actually says. Oh, not much. It's just kind of the same thing as before. Okay, so you have to drift by the points. It's not quite what I was thinking it was. For some reason I thought it was something else. Alright, and then here's the new element. There's boxes you have to spin in, which I suck at, usually. I always fall out of the box like that. Oh. See, I suck at spinning. So there's one of them. I can go and go to the other box. Yeah, I suck at this part so bad. I can't even get in the box. We're going to this box instead. This box is better. Oh, this box is way better. I'm not moving from this spot. I know the box will be back. This box is my friend. I'm not getting points for that, am I? I think I gotta leave the box before it'll let me get points. So let's go to this box again. Try this one more time. Yeah, this is definitely one of my weakest points in this game, is trying to spin. Not good at that. The next thing are these circles, which you have to do donuts around. It's a little bit easier than the spins, if you ask me. Okay, it's not a little bit easier, it's a lot easier, except it didn't catch that. I thought I would have had the points and I was going to go to the next one there. So I was planning on just a little bit of a collision, but I didn't get them. Guess I wasn't going quite fast enough or something. There we go. Let me head on to the next one. Just enough to activate it. I didn't mean to crash into it, but whatever. And then I go back to this one, because this is my lucky one. I'm crashing all over the place. Dude, this is bad. See, and then I just do this nice drift around that after crashing into everything. I was going too fast. And there we go. And now we actually get to do a Gymkhana. I want to say Gymkhana, but it's Gymkhana. So you have 2 minutes and you get points for doing what I just showed you, plus what we did before with the hitting blocks and stuff. And this one, it's all about keeping the multiplier alive, really. So you want to like hold those blocks off until you absolutely need to hit them. Otherwise, you want to try to get points from drifting near the poles, drifting around the circle, all that kind of stuff. And by the way, this is probably not going to go well. I'll tell you that now. So when you hit the blocks, though, it keeps your multiplier alive, which is really important because if you lose the multiplier, well, there goes your score. If you want a top score, you want to keep that thing alive forever. See, like right there, I lost it because it took me too long to do that circle one. I should have hit a block or something, but I didn't. So I made a mistake, put it simply. And right now I'm trying to focus on driving, so I kind of suck at commentating right now. Also, you'll notice that it tells you the score you get, including your current multiplier, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't say 5,000 points, period. It'll say like 20,000 points, but really you only get 5,000 points, but then it's being multiplied by whatever you have. So it already like pre-multiplies it, which is kind of interesting. So normally this is worth 5,000 points, but I have a 2 times multiplier, and then it gets brought up to 3 when I did that, so I got 1,500 points, or 15,000 points. And I got so focused on doing math, I just ranked up all over the place. So that's great. Gonna crash. Spawn out. See, I saved it by hitting that block and I kept the multiplier for a little bit longer, but I've already lost it twice this map, which is terrible. So now I'm kind of just giving up because there's only 10 seconds left, as you can tell. I'm just like, whatever, don't care. Doing donuts, because I don't care. Get to the box. Yeah, right. So there's the finish. Got 290,000, but again, it's kind of hard to know what's a good score and what's not. So it's like, yeah, 290,000. I keep wanting to say 29. So yeah, okay. Good or bad, I don't know. And you can view the leaderboard if you wanted to, but I'm not going to bother. It works. I'll tell you that much. But that's what the Gymkhanas look like, and I think you should have a new car we can drive somewhere around here. I'm going to go find it before I do anything here. Well, actually, I'm not sure if I'll do anything here, because you kind of get the idea of how the main stuff over here works. You just do what it says, like that one. You got a donut around the claw, drift around the building, donut around the crane. No, it's mostly self-explanatory what you have to do. There are a couple where it's like you have to jump things and do donuts inside, or spin, I guess they call it, inside of things. Stuff like that. But I saw what I was looking for, which is a place to change cars. So right now we have the car called the Original. We're going to get a new one. The new one is called the Super. So all you do is you drive into here, and then out pops out a new car, and I think performance is the same. I'm not going to say that as a fact, but I suck too bad to notice a major difference between all the cars and the way they perform. And right now, the Super has the white paint job again, which kind of sucks. And it sounds different, though. It definitely has a different sound, but every car in the game actually has a turbo sound, which is kind of funny. Like, no matter what it is, it has a turbo. And if we get through all of the challenges here, we'd unlock the next area, which would give us a new type of race. But I don't feel like doing that on camera because it'll take a little bit, so I'm going to do that. Well, actually, I might just try to recover my old save or something, but I'm going to be right back, and I'll see you in a minute. So here we are in my save that has everything unlocked as far as I know. And like I was saying, you unlock one car every time you complete all the missions, then you unlock a few levels as well. So here are all the cars. They have the Original, the Super, Das Whip, Missile, Huna Wagon, and Huna Van. So you could actually choose which color you want here, where before you kind of just, got whatever color it gave you. You could choose the real color and then choose what pattern you want on it. So you could have a surfboard on your Huna Van, and you can match it color-wise, so it looks like that. Kind of neat looking. And then you could go to the events and choose an event to do. So the drift track is the one we did already. That's the oval. And there are a bunch of different tracks you could go to. So there's all of the ones I have. And I think, like I said, I have everything unlocked as far as I know. So that's all the tracks. Some have right angles, some have smooth angles. Then over here you have the Gymkhana stages. just going through them real quickly so you get an idea of what they're like. And then lastly is this one, which I haven't done anything for, which is a mountain drift. So you pick one of these mountains and you drift down it. So like Mount Hotaka. Let's go. And I clicked so fast I didn't even get to see the next screen. So whoops. It was bad. Oh well. Anyways, all we're going to do is just give you a quick idea of what this one is. So it's basically just like the one where you're at a racetrack or whatever, but you're on a mountain course type of thing where it's one way, so there's no laps or anything like that, and it's more curvy than the other one, that's for sure. A lot more curves in this than the racetrack, at least the one I did originally, which was the oval. So you could just get down the course like this, and when you get to the end, you get a score, and it goes on the leaderboards and all that. And I think that gives you a decent enough idea of what this game is like. So, yeah, that is Absolute Drift. And until next time, this is WhyBeAre. I'll see ya.